Comments. All right, so we are now live. We'll give people a couple of minutes to come on in,
Mhm.
start the chat, and we'll be discussing week 5. I can't believe we're on week 5 already.
I know. It seems like this book is going so fast.
It
Um,
is.
and I feel like there's so much here to be learned, as on Leland on Judy said the last time, they were saying that there's a lot more about this book that they'd like to throw away. But overall, I feel like there's a lot of great things to learn here.
Oh my god! And you know what? And that could be coming from the perspective of people who've been through some things. You still you still young blood. So
Or
you
young
still
buck, as they call them.
yes, a little young buck. Exactly. So we have looks like we have two people who come on and joined us so far. Hello, hi Daphne. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us for week 5. We have 3 people on the live. Once you come in, won't you guys go ahead and say hello so we can give you a proper salutation? We'll know who's on here with us tonight. How has your week been going so far, Melissa?
Honestly, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. It felt like it went like this, if I'm being completely
Oh
honest.
my
But
goodness.
it's been great. A lot of things to learn. Yeah, honestly, I've been looking to find a way to bring everything together. As I said, I started a new contracting opportunity, and so I'm trying to figure out a way to make this posting and the everything work. It's proving a bit more involved, but I'm
Mhm.
gonna get it done. I'm gonna get it
Oh,
done.
definitely. I
How is
can say the same thing. I have at work is becoming so much more demanding, and
Mhm,
my time is being stretched very thin. And so like yesterday I had an event, and so it
mhm,
was, it was an evening event. And yeah, so just getting the logistics done for that and going to the hotel and making sure that everything was good.
mhm.
Um, that was, I mean, it turned out great. And of course, things always happen in the background, but as long as I feel like the guests don't know about the chaos in the background, we're good. Because when the chaos spills out into the front, we have problems.
So it's
So
like the Wizard of Oz. Don't look behind
exactly.
the curtain.
Don't look behind the curtain. Please don't. But it was a really good event, and a lot of the guests came and were like, they really enjoyed it. The food was amazing. And
Mm.
so even tonight's dinner, I was inspired by the food that I selected for that event. So came home today and I'm recreating it. So we're gonna see.
Now you know I love food. So what did you eat, and what did you recreate? Slash, what will I be eating this weekend?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So what did I make? Yesterday's the menu was it was garlic roasted chicken,
Uh-huh.
they some risotto, and they had the harcourt steamed vegetables. They had a really nice tartlet, so good. Now y'all know I'm not a baker, but and I didn't even try it, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. So what I did for dinner tonight, I roasted some the chicken quarters. I made some mushroom, some wild mushroom and onion, spring onion risotto. And I did the instead of doing the vegetables, I just did asparagus. And so steamed the asparagus. And yeah, so that's what's for dinner tonight.
Okay, so Mr. V is definitely he's reaping the benefits.
Yes, because there was no leftovers to bring home from the event yesterday. So, um, yeah, so he's gonna eat that today. So yeah, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
So this is an ongoing joke. Every time my mom and I go to visit at Wani's house, it seems like every time we're about to leave, Mr. B is knocked out.
Knocked
Like I remember the first couple of times he was like, "Dang, y'all keep leaving without saying bye." I was like, "You're asleep." I don't know how good I feel about waking up just to say bye. But
exactly.
needless to say, That man probably gonna catch the itis after y'all eat, and he gonna be out like a
He's
light.
gonna be out. He's gonna be out.
Have you
Yes.
guys had dinner
So we
yet? Have you guys had dinner yet?
no, he isn't home yet. So this time we'll be able to eat together because he typically waits for me to eat.
Okay.
So yeah, so he isn't home yet. So we have Sunny Day on here. Hey, Sunny Day. Sunny, I think she came on last week towards the end. So she was like, caught you guys in the beginning this time. Daphne right here. She says, I'm great. Hope you ladies are well. Yes, we're doing well. Hi, ladies. I'm well. I hope everyone is good as well. Good. And then
Yes.
Daphne says, Wanda, you are making me so hungry. Sounds
That's what I'm
delicious.
saying.
Oh my! I tasted the risotto right before I turned the eye off, and it is so good.
Oh goodness.
I must say,
If she
it's
does
better.
it for herself.
It's better than the hotels.
There you go.
It's
Do
really
your own
good.
one. Hi, do your own one.
Yes, yes. Hi, Vandessa J girl. Vandessa sent me a message this week. Yeah, this week she's in a real good mood. She got a lot of things going on. So, hey, lady, nice to see you. I'm really excited about your news. So, I want to thank everybody for coming on. It's like 8:09, so we have like 1 minute. We're gonna start like 8:10. Let a couple more people come in. But until then, I wanted to go ahead and introduce ourselves like we do every week. We have my beautiful Generation Z co-host over here. She's no longer Generation X to me. Generation, what I said, millennial. She's not a millennial no more. She's not a millennial. So Melissa, go ahead and let everyone introduce yourself.
So hi there. My name is Melissa Ingrid Lawrence, and I am a new YouTuber. I decided to start this journey because I'm on a journey to freedom, honestly. And the freedom that I am curating in my life is mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially. And that's what a lot of, the content around my channel is concerned with. Following me in sort of like a vlog opportunity just to see the different ways that I'm doing it. And then also I'll be sharing those resources. So hopefully as you're watching me do it, you guys can take some of those actionable steps as well. And additionally, everything on that channel will be surrounded around what I like to call the 7 Fs. So faith, family, finances, future, fashion, fitness, and fun. So those are the kind of things that you're going to see there. I have been compiling a lot of video, and I will be editing them and posting them soon. This watch here is going to be something cool that's going to be coming up soon. I got this for something that I've been working on, trail running. We'll be talking about that soon as well, but we'll get back to the book club.
Oh yes, Millie is a burst of energy. She's a burst of energy, and I'm like, oh my goodness, youth, my goodness, because I'm like, I was like that at one time. Now I feel like I need to be in bed like at 9 o'clock every night. So, but you're usually sleep. Yes. Okay, so we can connect there. You see, you're in bed, and I am thinking about the bed because lately I have been up to like 2 a.m. working.
Ooh.
So
you're like my mom. You guys are turning into vampires, night owls.
And I call your mom a vampire. So we have some more people who joined us. We have Janine on the phone. Hey, Janine. Janine always, they showing up all the time. Thank you, lady, for coming up. And we have our girl Al over here. Al, hey, lady. Hey. Yes. Yes, love who hair? Yes, love her. Okay. Yes. And then congratulations, Melissa. So happy for you. I will be praying everything's go well for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the prayers. And you know what? I'm gonna keep you in mind during my prayer time too.
Oh, that's sweet. Yes. So you guys know me. Y'all know I'm Wani. And I have been on YouTube now, I think for 7 years, 7 years. I think we're going upon 8 years, and I I think I'm on a quest, and so my quest is now because you guys have caught me like in my early mid 30s, and now I'm in my early 50s now. So your girl is mature and she's growing, and so I just want to make sure that although that we are maturing and that we're growing, that we continue to be divas and do it fashionably. And I don't believe there's an age limit on anything. So I don't buy that adage, and I just hope that you guys join me as we grow in my home, we grow spiritually, we grow in entertaining and friendship and everything else. So that is pretty much it. We're going to go ahead and jump into the book. Now, so we have thought about so many things about this book over the past couple of 5 weeks. Majority of us Gen Xers on here, we was like, girlfriend, this book is outdated. You know, we're going to school you the right way about this. And so our girl Al has been very vocal, and Janine and Vandessa have been on here. And we've been telling some life lessons, as well as Stephanie, life lessons and things that we've learned while dating, and and of course a lot of things that we did back then. Some of the things are still relevant because dating is the same. It's just the way that we date is different, right? And so with this, I know a lot of times when we're on here, we get caught up in whatever we want to say, and the lives become really, really long. And so what I want to do, and Melissa and I spoke, so we are going to have our lives it's going to be an hour. So we need to get everything in an hour. And then if you come up and whatever you would like to say, we're going to give you 2 minutes to say whatever you want to say about whatever the topic is. And then we're going to go to the next one. That way, it'll be, the time will be spent more effectively. Okay. So Melissa, you want to go on, you want to get started. So what we do want to say is the book is about to get juicy.
It is. I'm not gonna lie. I was getting a little sweaty writing up these questions.
It is getting juicy. So I want to say a disclaimer.
Not for kids.
It's not for kids. And if you have a problem talking about adult content right here, we're gonna leave you right here at chapter 11. Chapter 12. So the book goes in for chapter
13.
Yeah. Oh yes, yeah. Because we need you for chapter 13. That's right, because that's handling conflict. But yes. But chapter 14 is gonna get hot and steamy. So no prudes allowed. Okay, don't be sending YouTube no messages about me, please.
Report me.
All right, so go ahead, Melissa.
So the first the first portion of the book that we're going to be talking about, chapter 13, is called How to Handle Conflict. So in this chapter, the author really breaks down how to have a conversation in a way that is both respectful to both parties and allows, as she says in previous chapters, the masculine to feel respected while the feminine is feeling cherished. And so the author states that anytime you both want to be respected for your ideas or cherished for your feelings, you are in conflict. She also suggests some tools to help navigate the disagreement. So one of the tools that she suggests is something called the stroke and stand, and it's for immediate response to a painful situation. Always make your man feel accepted. Tell him he has the right freedom to do or say anything as long as it is moral, not hurting your body, or ethical, not hurting your money, property, or career. So this is an example just to give a bit more context to what she's talking about. So imagine that Fred is the name of the hypothetical gentleman in this situation. So imagine that Fred had a habit not only of looking at pretty women when he was out with Beth, but also of pointing them out to her, right? Which made her feel negative and undesirable. She could say, and this is where stroke comes in, Fred, you have every right to look at pretty women and point them out to me. But, and this is where the stand comes in, I feel jealous when you do that, and I don't want to feel that way. So if you continue, and this is where you put in the contract, I will be leaving. Of course, then, if he continues, she must leave, because it clearly means that he does not cherish her feelings. A woman of integrity stands by her contract. So that was the first one. Did you guys want to discuss that one?
So I would like to cut kind of that one.
I would like to cut her up. Continue.
Okay. So that whole example,
Yes.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Hi, Mariah.
Hi.
That whole example. And I was like, okay, I do believe that part of this, okay, I'm okay with, because I do believe there has to be consequences. And if you're gonna say you're gonna do something, then you're gonna have to follow through. If not, then the person, male or female, is going to just be like, oh, they're not gonna do anything about it. You know, they're not gonna do anything about it, right? But y'all know me by now. So I'm one of those that you remember your mom would say, whatever you act up, wherever you act up on me, wherever we are, how's that thing? Where you act up on me at is where I'm gonna react on you at. So you want to act the fool out here in public. I'm gonna act the fool out here in public with you too. So I felt like, not that, you know, I'm not one that argues in public or anything like that, but if something like that happens, don't do as I do, okay? But let this be an example, okay? Because yes, Janine, that's where it is. Where you act up is where you get smacked up. Yeah, that's
or
it.
My mama's version, where you look for it is where you're gonna get it.
That's it. That's it. Exactly. That's exactly. You're right. All of those. That's it. So me, oh my goodness, my hair. You know, I would be the one, because if I'm gonna feel uncomfortable, and that's my thing. If I'm gonna feel uncomfortable, you're gonna feel uncomfortable too. I'm not gonna take the brunt, the brunt of it. So for a situation like this, I'll give you an example. Oh God.
I'm loving this. I cannot wait. I really can't.
An example. So Mr. B and I, when we were dating, who were dating? Yeah, who we dating? No. What we did? I don't know. What we dating? No, we were we were married. We were married. So he and we went out to a club with my cousin and his wife. So we're out at the club, and he says to me, we're dancing or whatever. So then we come back and sit down. So Mr. B, he was like, you don't want to dance with nobody else? I was like, well, why would I come here and dance with somebody else? And he was like, well, it's okay. I said, well, no, I don't want to do that. So he got up and he went and danced with somebody else, right? I said, oh, so that's what we doing?
Not the reverse psychology.
Yes. Okay. So I got up and I was walking around the club or whatever. And so this guy asked me, he was like, do you want to dance? I was like, yes, I'll dance. So I danced with him. And then he was like, would you like a drink? I said, I sure would. He got me a drink. And we went in. I went over to the table and I sat with him. Now, Mr. B, he's sitting and he watching me from across the room. But you started this, right? You started this. So I'm sitting there and girl, I'm all into what he got to say. I'm just talking and laughing and giggling and whatever. And so he goes and he said, and so I was like, I probably was, I don't know how long I was with him, enough to finish my drink, I believe. And so I think my cousin came over. And so her and I, we went back to where Mr. B and my cousin were, right? And so I don't know what happened then, but anyway, we was getting ready to leave, and the guy came and he grabbed my arm, and he was like, "You leaving?" I said, "Yeah, I'm leaving." He says, "Well, can I give you my number?" Mr. B was right there. My cousin was there, and my cousin wife were there. All of them. My cousin, real light skinned girl. He beat red, and I said, and I was like, "Yes, yes." I took his number, and I tell you, it was silent. And so we got in the car. And so I know Mr. B was embarrassed because I did it, but you did it. That's what you said. You opened the door. So you opened the door. These are the consequences of you open the door. Don't think that ain't nobody else gonna want me, because I done showed you in your face up close and personal. So that was my one of my examples to say, if he would have done that, I would have been the one to be like, "Oh yeah." And he handsome too, because we want to point out people. I could point out people and look too, but I let you know that that's disrespectful.
Okay. So it's one of those situations where you're not going to tell him, you're going to show him how it make you feel.
I'm going to show you. Yes, exactly. Because that's what I said. I'm not going to be the only one who feels uncomfortable.
Okay.
So, okay, so
ask, and I'm glad I got the story time. This is
riveting. That's what got Mr. B crying in the corner. Y'all stupid. Believe to my girl, yes. Well, Al said, "Okay, listen, you get 10 seconds to look, and then I'm gonna need him to quit, or else you getting slapped in the back of the head." And I like my man ball. Thank you. Okay, because honestly, we all see somebody who's like handsome or who catches our attention or whatever. But when you're gawking, okay, then that's disrespectful. Yeah. Okay. Yes, all that's disrespectful. He said, what she say? He said he cracked the door open. You took the door off.
But you know what? So when I was in college, I was dating someone, and it was hilarious because like I'm the kind of person, when I'm out and like I'm there, I'm just dancing. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't dancing with anybody, obviously, but you know, I'm the kind of person, listen. All right. So there was one party. I'm not gonna talk about that one. We're gonna get back to the story I was actually telling. Yes. So because we only got 2 minutes, right? We got 2 minutes. So yeah, so I'm the kind of person, let's just say, if I'm feeling it enough, I will just dance with the wall, and the wall will be getting it. That's all I gotta say. So I'm in there, I'm by myself, I'm in the middle of the dance floor, I'm dancing everywhere, all that kind of stuff. And then the person I was in at the time was like, "Why don't you ever invite me to dance with you?" I'm like, "This is a party. I don't think you gotta invite anybody to dance." I got up and danced because I wanted to. Yeah. So one of those situations where, you know, obviously, you know, somebody during that party did ask me to dance, but because I was there with somebody that I dated, I said no. You know, I'm enjoying my time just dancing by myself. Thank you very much. And I did say thank you because he did approach me very respectfully. You know, it wasn't like he kind of grabbed me, and that's part of the reason too why, you know, I don't know. I don't like when people grab me. So I'm the kind of person, you grab me and I'm out of there. So oh, that's my brother. What? We can use you for chapter 14. I'm kidding.
You said no.
It was a joke. He wasn't gonna come anyways. So as far as so honestly, I get what you're saying. So but I'm also not the person. So yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, I think I kind of lost my track of thought when he grabbed me because I said I don't like people grabbing me. So
okay. So I am going to put the link down in the chat. If you guys, what do you guys think about that example about the stroke and stand, and you know, letting him, you know, she stated how what he did made her feel, and then she gave like the contract. If you do it again or you continue doing it, I'm leaving. What do you guys think about that? You can hit the link and it'll bring you up. Remember, we're asking that you guys limit your comments to 2 minutes. So you want to go to the next question?
Yes. So the next technique that she offers is something called the 5-step cleanup. And this is for a delayed response to a painful situation. The first one was for an immediate response to a painful situation. This one is a delayed response. So Marcia was passive aggressive, asserting herself to something she enjoyed, or saying no was more nerve-wracking for her. Instead, she would say yes to almost anything and then sabotage things later by being unhappy and showing it. By doing this, she remained in control of the situation in an undercover way. Marcia needed to learn how to bring up negative, fearful subjects and feelings. Marcia wanted to tell Peter she wanted to go on a weekend trip with a couple of her friends, which meant she would be seeing him, which means she wouldn't be seeing him. A problem, since Marcia had trouble abandoning Peter for a whole weekend. So the first portion of what she offers as a way to be able to handle this is called, so the 5 steps are: ask for permission to enter his space. Next, give a stroke in recognition of his good aspects. 3, share your feelings. 4, share your not wants first to get your wants. And then 5, use the contract. So it's the look on your face right now, as because you know what I'm about to say. So underneath part 1, ask permission to enter his space. The first one is, Peter, I want to talk to you about my going away for the weekend with Gail and Vicky. Do you want to talk about it now or later? And according to the author, now that you've made him feel respected, hopefully the guy will set time now or later to talk. He will feel comfortable and not bombarded by you, who has not triggered a left lobe argument between her male energy and his male brain. This will help her case. So the next one is, give a stroke of recognition for his good aspects. And underneath that, she says, Peter, I really appreciate how much you want me to have fun and feel good. The next part is share your feelings. By doing this, Martha gives Peter a chance to love her and cherish her. She is allowing herself to be vulnerable. And this is what she would say. However, I'm feeling guilty about going away and leaving you alone this weekend, though it's something I will enjoy. The next part, share your not wants first to get your wants. Peter, I don't want to see you as a warden and resent you, so I'm going away in spite of my feelings. Use the contract, which is next. Peter, are you okay with my leaving? And right underneath that, she says all answers are either yes or no. Any questions, debates, accusations, criticism, or blocks. In this case, Peter does not care about Marcia and cherishing her feelings. So he will say either yes, a clean yes, or explain his reasons for saying no, and hopefully they will work on a way to create a compromise. Then if Peter were the type of man to avoid a clean negotiation in order to intimidate her out of her weekend, Marcia could respond with the stroke and stand tool that we talked about earlier. So she says, Peter, you have every right to avoid a straight yes or no. I don't want to fight. I will take care of myself. I will put up with this kind of behavior as long as I can, but then I will leave. What do you think?
Well, Janine started off saying, oh, Lord. And then Janine said the first one was fine. And then she says, hell no to the rest. So, my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Heck no to the rest.
Yes. I mean, yes.
It's the look on your face. Your face is so mischievous right now.
I have been working on that poker face, girl.
I'm terrible at it either. People can read my entire expression all over my face.
Yes. I don't know. She really don't have my what I would do on here, but I do like, I think like Janine, the first one was okay. It was okay.
She said with a big O and a small K.
Okay. Yeah, he would set out time. See, once again, this just seems so like June Cleaver-ish, like back in the 50s and 60s to me. But yeah, the first one was okay. My thing is, I believe that for like instances like this, because there have been times I've gone away with my girlfriends or whatever, and I've done things with them, and it's just simple like, do we have anything planned? Are you planning anything for us on this day? or it's just like just simple communication. And then he'll probably be like, well, what is it that what's going on? And I said, oh, well, the girls and I want to go so and so,
Mhm.
or whatever the case may be. But it's just about being respectful, because last thing you want to do is plan something and not involve them, because then there's sometimes he was like, well, how I didn't want to go, or whatever the case may be, or how I didn't have that planned, or whatever the case may be. So okay, Sunny said, I don't ask, I inform.
Okay.
So
I got informed.
yes. So what she's saying is, she'll say, well, I'm doing this so and so and so and so, or whatever. Or is that pretty much how you're stating it, Sunny Day? Excuse me. That well, I'm going here, or I'm planning this, or whatever. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but yeah, so that's how I would handle the situation. But as far as the book is concerned, I agree with Janine. No, the first one is all right.
It's the pauses you keep taking before you make it that is making this absolutely hilarious. Because it's just like, it's kind of like an arm twisted behind your back. Like, yeah, it's all right. So if I have to.
Yes. So yes, just like V said, please feel free to join in. We have the link that is down in the chat. Anytime you want to come on and voice your views on anything. So what do you think? How do you think you would handle that situation?
So, I think I would want to marry the two. So, obviously checking to make sure that, because, I would love to have somebody who just likes to surprise me. Oftentimes in my life, I'm the one that's organizing and putting everything together. So I know that that's something that I genuinely love, for somebody to just kind of be like, okay, boom, this is all put together. All you got to do is show up. Like, I would love that. So for me, obviously checking in to make sure that there wasn't anything planned ahead of time. But then, this is something that I was wanting to do. Not necessarily, are you okay with it? But,
Yes.
did you have anything else planned?
Yes.
And then after that, once we've established that you don't have anything planned, I have something potentially planned, I'm going to go do that. And then you can do whatever you're doing. So, yeah. Now as far as are you okay with it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never actually been married, and I've never really lived with anybody. So I've never had to exactly do that. And then also, I'm somebody, you know what I realized? One thing that really helped me was that I always had a shared calendar. So like back when I was in college and I was dating someone, like I had a shared calendar. So like all of my events were in there. So it's like, I'm somebody who's really like, if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. So with that, like back when I was working at Starbucks, people would be like, hey, do you want to hang out? And I'm like, okay, boom, it's in my calendar. There was just like, well, if it's in Melissa's calendar, it's definitely got to happen now.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
I'm very organized that way. So we'd have the shared calendar. Okay, boom. So, I kind of knew, what I'm saying? So it wasn't any questions or surprises. And, the person I was in at the time put their events in the calendar as well. That way we knew there wasn't any scheduling conflicts, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like communication on the front end kind of avoids that stuff on the back end. But yeah, so I guess that's how I'd handle it, potentially.
See, because you know what? And once again, that goes to talk about the differences in our generation, because you guys live on your tablets, your phone, your watches, everything is on there.
Yes.
We don't have time for that. we don't have time for that. The time that you talking about me to log up on here and put this on my calendar and whatever, girl, I have a hard enough time trying to put my stuff for work on my calendar. I don't want to put my life on there, but you guys grew up with all of that. So it's nothing for you guys.
You know what? I'm like, when I say if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. One day I left my room without my phone. Let me tell you this. I did not know where I had to be. I didn't know what classes I had. I didn't know what time my classes started. I
Oh my
literally saw one girl in my first class. I was like, I think I seen her in some of my other classes. I just followed her all day.
Oh my
I have
God.
no time to get back to my room. It was on the other side of campus. So I just followed her all day. I made friends. Because I really had no idea what homework assignments were due. I'm glad I'm the person that's like ahead of schedule. Because the way that I had everything set up, I was at least a week ahead. So I didn't remember what I did last week. So I was like, I know my homework's done. I just got to show up.
Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Janine thinks, she said, you're so cute. Vandessa says, my calendar is full paper on. Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Oh, a physical calendar.
Old school. And just to prove a point, yesterday I had my event.
Mhm.
I have folders for all of my events.
Mhm.
Also, old school, have this binder here, and it has my to-do list. I could not function. Today. I didn't know what I had to do. I didn't know who I had to pay. I didn't know nothing. I had to go downtown
And
to
get
get my binder. I'm old school.
You know
So,
what? I'm gonna have to hook you up because the coolest thing is the way that the calendar works now. If it's Google Calendar, if it's Apple Calendar, even if you don't have your device, you can log on to somebody else's computer and look at your calendar to tell you exactly what to do.
oh my gosh.
And then also you're not breaking your back trying to carry all this paper.
Oh, so
Fun. Next thing you know, Miss Wani gonna be here talking about if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist.
Girl, you're gonna have to reprogram this one right here. Al says, I would agree with Wani. Be respectful, but I'm not asking. And why is this woman ready to leave the relationship every time they disagree? She said she needs to leave Fred alone and get herself together. Girl, I know that's right. She is ready to hit the door. She was like, I'm out of here.
Oh, that's absolutely hilarious. I remember last book club, I was asking a similar question. I was like, okay, so what if you guys come across I was just like, what if you guys come across something that you just can't agree on? And I was like, you just leave? You were just like, no, you don't just leave.
She said, I'm out. Denise said she thought she was going to say, Siri, what's on my calendar?
I do. And the coolest thing is my phone will be across the room and I'll be like, hey, Siri, can you put this? And let me not say that too loud before she actually hear me and shut this thing off. But I'll be like, can you put this on my calendar for this time at this date? Yeah, I do that. It's great. I got a personal assistant.
Oh, no. No. We got Wills to put those calendars. Girl, okay, thank you.
Those calendars.
He's talking about
me.
Okay, you want to go to the next question?
For sure. So the next one is validation. And this is for bringing up unspoken body language to a verbal level. This communication tool makes clear the meaning underlying nonverbal body language that we pick up intuitively as women. His tone of voice, facial expressions, posture, and gestures. So in this example, Carolyn wanted to know what were his plans for the future. In the past, she broached the subject by saying, Bill, do you want to be married someday? When? And Bill would avoid the subject by saying, I don't know today. Can you give me more time? Truth was, Bill was interested in marrying Carolyn, but her controlling ways triggered warning signs that he knew well from past relationships. He wanted to see how far she would go to pressure him into talking about marriage. He wanted her to let him pick the time to romantically propose. He did not want to tell her prematurely that he wanted to marry her. He was afraid that would give her ammunition to push him faster. So the author suggested that whenever Carolyn wanted a response from Bill, she would state his position for him respectfully based on what she was picking up intuitively. I sense, believe, you feel angry, resentful, uncomfortable, etc. Am I right? By using that approach, she could avoid appearing to control him by demanding answers or actions. Say something like, Bill, I sense that you don't want to talk about our future together because you have not answered yes or no to my question. Am I right? Now, Bill may say yes or no, or he may say nothing. And according to the author, all answers other than yes or no are no. She must then decide her appropriate action, accept or reject him.
Okay.
Hey, Leela.
Hey, Aunt Leela. Aunt Leela says, I do keep personal events, my to-do list on iCalendar for work. I use paper. I use a paper desk calendar and my Outlook calendar. Overkill,
But
girl.
guess what? You probably never miss anything.
I'm sure she doesn't. No.
I went on a road trip once with Aunt Leela when I was in middle school, and it was hilarious because she had the GPS, but then she also had paper printout copies of the
Oh
directions.
my. Yes.
If the
Just in
GPS didn't
case.
work. So you know what? We always got where we had to go with Aunt Leela.
Yes. She said, "Hey." So, for this one, I don't know how I feel about this one. I feel like when you don't have an answer, that is an answer.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Leela says she's extra. She says I'm extra. Kim Toy, hey Kim Toy. Hello, good night.
Nice.
Yeah, so I feel like no answer is an answer.
Mhm.
And it also like kind of depends on how long they've been together, you know.
Mhm.
So you can't be talking about your future. You only been with him 3 months. You know, you no. Now I do know some people who've gotten married after 3 and 6 months. That was a quick conversation. But I just think to bring up the subject, just ask. Just ask. You I don't feel like you can or you should kind of like pussyfoot your way around the question or whatever, because and the response you get, you kind of know in the direction of where they're going. So if they're hostile, you get one of those responses like, well, why we got to put labels on things? That's a negative. So that means what? He's not claiming you. He's not taking the relationship seriously, and he's probably seeing somebody else. Or you'll get something like, well, why do we got to talk about that now? Or we good how we are now. Once again, what does that mean? And so I always say, well, like I've said before, if you listen, they tell you. Now you just have to listen and listen past what you want to hear.
Mhm.
So and so wait a minute. She said she was a pain in the butt. I think she's talking about are you talking about the author? She only had to ask once.
But thinking about it, right? According to the example above, he was planning on asking her to marry him.
Right.
So if the first time that she asked and he gave the "can you give me some more time" response,
Mm-hmm.
and she left, she wouldn't be married to him now. Because according to the book, they did end up getting married. He proposed. He wanted to marry her. It's just he wanted to be able to ask in his time. But I also understand where she's coming from, because you don't want to just hanging around, thinking that one day he gonna propose and then you at his funeral because it's been
Yes.
70 years and y'all been common law. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I get that. So it's
But
just
then how long is that goes to the question, then how long is
the
too
next
long?
one, how long is too long?
How long is too long? Because I told you I've known somebody who was with somebody 15 years and he didn't marry her. He was still dating her and was getting married at the same time.
Wow.
So, and she found out he was getting married on his wedding day by his parents. So, and she had been with him for 15 years. So, how long is too long? 15 years is definitely too long. I'm sorry.
Well, I know for me, when I was like, it's interesting. I've been like this since I was like 18 now. We're not dating more than 2 years. I was like, we're not dating more than 2 years. Because after 2 years, if you don't know in 2 years, and I've also been like reading a lot of stuff recently that, especially from men and even men that I've spoken to that are mentors of mine and things like that. And a lot of them said that they knew in the first 6 months that it doesn't take a man long to know whether or not he wants to be with you.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And that's why I was like, yeah, you said 2. I say 3. I say 3, but definitely I do believe like at least in the 3rd year, y'all need to be planning something, because I'm like, what we've seen everything. You've seen my good, my bad. You've seen my ugly. We've been through some things together. We got out of that. or whatever the case may be. So what are we waiting on? Now you hear a lot of people, men saying they're, I want to be financially stable and whatever. I do believe that he should be able to take care of you. He need to be able to take care of business. But there are going to be times where something might happen. He may lose his job. He might get sick. A lot of different things can happen. So, but like the story is, I would definitely, I wouldn't wait forever. So, like we said, 3 years, and you have to put a time limit on it, and let them. And that is not an ultimatum, because I
happen.
Exactly, that is not an ultimatum. Because I had my sister tell me that I gave Mr. B an ultimatum. That was not an ultimatum. I let him know what my plans were. These were my parameters. If it doesn't align with what you want to do, that's fine. But this is what I said for me. I'm not waiting 5 years for nobody. Ain't nobody putting me on their way. We're not doing that. So I do believe that. So that's enough time for him to get himself together, get his ring, and propose however he would like to propose. But I don't think that you do need to have some type of limitation.
And I feel like that's interesting because I'm thinking we could like kind of hybrid this, because I remember Ms. Wani, you were talking about when you were trying to move back east from California. So maybe like a hybrid of the two, where it's, this is so, what are the plans for the future, X, Y, and Z, I have a two, and what I realized made things easy? I was upfront about that when I first started dating people. And that's the reason why I realized I've never had a relationship more than 2 years. I was really upfront. Like, if in 2 years there's no plans about what's about to happen next, I'm gone. And I'm not even like, I'm not the big rah-rah kind of person. Just quickly and quietly put my stuff away.
Yes.
Just be gone.
Time's up. Well, the ticking. You have 60 seconds, dude.
I mean, because it's interesting, because what you were saying, I think, makes a lot of sense. Show, not tell. Because if you said it once and they're serious, they would keep that in the back of their minds. So I guess, that makes sense. Take the Miss Wani approach. Quit your job, get a new one the next place you move into, pack all your stuff. This is where I'm going. This is where I'm going. We coming together or not?
Yeah.
If you guys, if nobody else has anything to say, I can move on to chapter 14, which is called Striking the Deal.
Let's go ahead.
So the author gives direction on how to negotiate the striking the deal portion of the relationship. Once you've seen the good and the bad about your significant other, and he, as the male, assumed the responsibility of the relationship, and you, as the female, gave up your independent ways, or vice versa. You will now enter the negotiation period of the relationship. It is in the next 3 months that you will have the opportunity to begin building a long-term relationship commitment, married or not. So the life commitment questions: will you guys marry or not? Children or not? If so, how many children? What religion will they be raised in? What if he already has children and an ex-wife? To name a few. But if both have careers that demand a lot of time and you both want a family, one of you has to decide to put family first or the career first. Which one of you will it be? To reach an understanding and a commitment, each person has to ask 4 questions. What do I want? What do you want? What do I not want? And what do you not want? Then you both have to agree in order to move forward. They said that part of this aspect of the relationship is changing roles. According to the author, this is a stage in a relationship where there is more flexibility in the role behavior. That energy is the currency of exchange, and that energy comes either in active maleness or passive femaleness. For a relationship to work, one person must lead with thoughts and the other must follow or respond with feelings. And both to always be willing to hear the other out without judgment. The next suggestion she had was something called daily amigo talks, where both people have the opportunity to daily vent and stop toxic buildup of unproductive and detrimental emotions like resentment and frustration. It helps avoid denial as a solution to keep the peace. During this exchange, both people are to listen without interrupting, judging, teaching, or giving suggestions. Now, the masculine energy individual will bring up any topic of interest to the both of them and ask how the feminine energy individual feels. Once the feminine energy individual shares her feelings, the masculine energy individual will ask what they can do to make the feminine feel more comfortable with the decision in doing it. The feminine energy will follow a similar process. The major difference is that their questions will be based on what the masculine energy individual thinks about a topic of interest to the both of them, as opposed to how he feels about a topic of interest to the both of them. So that's the first part. How to be able to negotiate and make sure that there's no resentment or anything built up. So I guess, do you practice some sort of like an amigo talk in order to navigate this kind of stuff?
No. Obviously, I've been doing it all wrong. Oh my goodness. I no. Okay. I don't do any of that.
Okay. So then what does conflict resolution look like in your relationship then?
It depends on what the topic could be. Sometimes conflict resolution is me shutting down for a couple of hours and getting my thoughts together, and then tapping him on the shoulder in the middle of the night and be like, I've been thinking. Okay. I've been thinking, or I'll say, we need to talk. Because sometimes I may not have the words to say what I want to say. And a lot of times it can be like emotional. So yes, or or sometimes it might be like the next morning or the next day or whatever. Like I say, he'll get a phone call and I'm like, we need to talk. And he'll say, oh hell. Here we go.
That sounds like him too.
Yes. So yeah, I just, once again, I just feel like you have to have like open communication, and you need to be able to say how you feel or whatever the case may be respectfully, and not be afraid that you're going to hurt somebody's feelings, because sometimes you just have to say how you feel, and but sometimes you need time to
figure out what you feel,
figure out what it is that you're feeling, because sometimes it's in here and it's just not feeling right, and what you're feeling right here and on your tongue, they just don't mesh at the same time. And then but then there's sometimes, when your tongue gets in front of everything and whatever comes out, and you just hash it out then.
And that's the reason why I try my best. So I think it's cool. And so a little bit about me. So I live at home. So I live with my mom. I live with my family. So it's like 5 of us in the house right now, right? 6 of us in the house right now. I counted somebody. So, and I feel like the coolest thing is that it's really taught me how to live with other people. So like conflict resolution, I know one thing that I've learned personally, I guess, in a relationship with my siblings, and I guess to a certain extent, it would be sort of like a marriage in a way, because, we can't just not be siblings anymore. You can't have an ex-brother or an ex-sister. So you got to learn how to deal with problems as they come along. And one thing that I found that has worked for me is not having conversations out of anger. So if I know in the moment, because of my emotions, I'm likely to say something that I can't take back, I'll be like, I'm going to talk about this later. So I feel like that's a really cool way for what you were saying before. Sometimes your tongue gets ahead of you. So it's like, I don't like to have conversations in anger, because you might say something you can't take back. So,
exactly.
It's okay. All you want to do is shing, shing, shing back. So, all right, well, that's cool. It's interesting. So one time when I was hanging out with my mentors, they're married, and it was interesting. They had an argument when I was there. And it was so cool, because I know more often than not, whenever I'm around married people or people in a relationship, they usually try to hide that. And it was so cool. Like, don't get me, like, they weren't like very loud or anything about it, but I have really good ears, so I was listening.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I can't help it even if I wanted to. My ears, they just pick up things. And when they came back, I made sure to just really just like affirm them and thank them for that. I was like, thank you for the way that you argued. Like, I've never seen people argue like that before. Completely respectful. He said exactly how he felt. She felt exactly how she felt. And then they reached an agreement and everything like that. I was like, that was so cool. And I feel like what it showed me is that you can't really call it love if you can't risk offending them with the truth.
Right.
Because if you can't say how you really feel, you really can't call it love.
Yes, that's true. So
Yeah.
Daphne says, so I agree with you, Wani. Listening is always the key. Janine says sometimes they need to hear that word at the end of the sentence. Ha ha ha. Yes.
Word at the end of the sentence, the period. Oh,
Uh,
the period isn't a word, right?
no.
Okay.
So whatever your stance is, your point you're trying to make.
Yeah.
Hey Stephanie, sorry I'm late. I made it home from the ER with my husband. Oh my goodness, I hope he is doing okay. Oh goodness, those ER visits, I can't. Oh yes, so it's definitely saying a prayer for him. Hopefully he's okay. She said exactly. Al says, but there are two kinds of love. Your argument with your brother is going to be different from a spouse because the love is different. Exactly.
Okay.
That,
Again,
that
you
is
know, it's one
true.
of those things where I guess experience will show me.
Yes. Yes, because you know what? Although because there are two different expectations. You have expectations of your spouse. Of your siblings, right?
Mhm.
But you have your expectations of your spouse is totally different from that. So yes, like Al said, I totally agree with that. Those arguments are going to be more passionate.
Okay. I guess things to look out for. Now, the
Yes.
next passionate discussion that people are likely to have is the living together situation. So, during this phase, the two of you will discuss whether or not to live together before marriage. The author's warning is don't do it. When you move in with him, you bring your sensuous sexual self to him without his having to bring the status of engagement or marriage. He gets the better deal than you do. Living together is defined as when you share the same address. Sleeping over is different. Is different. Oh, sleeping over is different. It's the equivalent of visiting. What do you think about that?
Sleeping over is a okay.
Oh, I'll reread it. So, during
Yes.
this phase of the relationship, the two of you will discuss whether or not to live together before marriage. The author's warning is don't do it. When you move in with him, you bring your sensuous sexual self to him without his having to bring the status of the engagement or marriage. He gets the better deal than you do. Living together is defined as when you share the same address, whereas sleeping over is different and it's the equivalent of visiting. Not
I agree. Okay. I agree with
will
that.
we agree with the author? With what?
I
No.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. Um
Okay.
I do. Sleeping over is just like visiting. You can leave. I can leave.
First half, you're hilarious.
Exactly. Exactly. And if I get mad, I can go home. You can go home. Yes. Of course it's totally different when you're married.
Yes.
But I will say that we didn't live together before. Well, okay, we did and we didn't. So we lived together 3 weeks prior to us getting married.
Okay.
And so it was because I had to be out of one place and be in another. It was because of him. He had to be out of his place. So technically he could have been in the other place by himself, right? But so yeah, so 3 weeks before we got married, we lived together.
Okay.
But the other thing, yeah, I wouldn't do it, not long term because it might not happen. Why would he then? But then there are some people who do live together. So let's see this. Have any of you ladies, you're married now or whatever? Did you guys live with your husbands prior to you getting married? I'm interested to hear what you got to say.
Oh, on Lula's comment.
Oh
They
my
said,
goodness.
oh
They
goodness.
said he was having a heart attack. Oh my goodness. Is he still in the hospital, Stephanie? Um,
If you guys are comfortable, we could take if everybody's comfortable, I'd like to take like a second real quick just to pray real quick, just to, okay, that's okay. By the name of Jesus, we bring Miss Stephanie's husband before you. Lord, you know everything that's going on, and you know that everything happens on purpose for a purpose. I thank you that they're thinking of him possibly having a heart attack is them putting a little check mark there for them to know to circle back around and continue to visit on his health. Lord, I thank you that he comes back stronger and better than ever, and that he can continue to do the work and the service that you place in his hands to do, and that he can be a loving husband to Miss Stephanie and just continue to do and be who it is that you've called him to be. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Oh, they lived together about 7 months because her lease was up. Okay.
My husband and I lived. Okay. So that was Stephanie. Okay. And Janine says prayers going up for Stephanie's husband. Vandessa's lived with hers for 2 months before. Okay.
But now my question for Miss Vandessa was the engagement imminent, or were you living with him and then after living with him did he propose?
That's a good question.
Because you hear certain things like, why would he buy the cow when he could get the milk for free, kind of thing. So
okay. And Leela said, that's what Leela just said. That is funny that he gets the better deal. Who says the woman may not want the sex too? That's true.
That is true. I could see that. But I feel like it follows up with what the author was saying about it gives him no incentive then because he's getting all the benefits without having to actually put any commitment down.
Yes. But once again, this was written in 1983.
That's true.
We had a whole lot of liberties since then.
A year after they got married. Okay.
Yes. We lived together a year after we got married. Okay.
There's a story.
How was that?
There's a story there.
That is a story. I was like, wait a minute. We're like,
I love that Al always has this way of just like dropping little things in there. We're like, well, okay, where's the rest of the story?
Yes.
And didn't want to sign another year lease. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, we were engaged 6 months before.
Okay.
We're engaged, and I didn't. Okay, you want to sign another lease? Janine, same here, but we were already planning and paying on our wedding. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, here she go. Sorry, I lied.
I was like, there's definitely a story there.
I was like, what? Yes. Okay.
Now, as far as everybody good to move on?
Yes, go ahead.
So as far as, okay, so I see we're at the hour mark. How did you want to handle that? Did you want us to move on?
We started a little bit late. We started like at 7:24, like when we really got going. So we can go to 8:30.
Okay. So the next one is money. So money is something that must be discussed before, not after you live together, because money, like sex, is a potential power play area. If not, you risk power games and secret manipulations. At this time, you both become quote unquote open books, which means you will freely exchange information regarding assets and liabilities of both of you. When you or your partner bring up finances, pay close attention. If they seem reluctant to discuss these matters, it could be because they are insecure about their personal finances. They may be secretive and do not intend to negotiate their money, or they just may not be as committed to a future together as you are. And you better find that out before you spend a lot of time with them. The next part is, one rule the author supports is that the person who brings in the largest portion of money, the masculine, do good, feel good person, whether male or female, always has the right to determine whether he or she will control his or her money. Allocate control to the spouse or have a professional do it. She also makes a point to mention women in the past have blindly allowed their husbands to handle money they have earned or inherited as the right way. This is not good because this is money you met him with. It is up to you in what way and how you handle that money. Men also have the right to determine how and who shall control money in the marriage. You and your man negotiate which of you will handle your finances, overseas investments, retirement plans, and budgets, and independent allowances for each. It doesn't matter who writes the checks as long as one person is in charge. It's the way. You are a trip. It's the way you responded.
I'm not gonna give my opinion. I want to hear what everybody else says. So what do you guys think about that? Okay, well, here's Vandessa. Of course, mine is mine. His is mine. Money, not shared bank accounts.
Not mine is mine, his is mine.
Okay.
So I agree with you, Juanita.
Al laughing. Daphne, I so agree with you, Wani. You have to figure it out first, because you cannot communicate without knowing what you want to say. Oh, definitely. She went back on it. Yes, I totally agree. Janine says, oh no, my paycheck is in my account. His paycheck is in his account, and we have one account for the devils who we need to pay together. Check. We've spoken about that, so I agree with that. And we still have our separate bank accounts. He pays all the bills, but too.
Okay. It's interesting. My mom sent me a video by Steve Harvey where he was kind of going over that, where he was saying something similar. Like, you have a shared bank account where all the stuff for like bills get paid from. And then you have your separate bank account. He has his separate bank account. That way you guys aren't having to ask permission to buy things, because you guys are both adults. And just like a shared savings account as well for just like different things and emergencies. And then you can also have your own personal savings accounts for different things that you want to save up to buy and stuff like that. So, you know, I guess that's a little bit I can add in there from the research.
Yeah, and I of all the things that Steve Harvey has said, that is one I agree with.
Ooh,
Everything, I don't agree with him.
that's layered.
It is.
But you know what? We're not gonna unpack it right now. You know, and then so the next one is how to handle private property. The author offers advice on how to handle entering into a marriage with somebody who wants a prenup. She states that if your man or you want a prenup, do it. That she has found that a man or a woman who has worked hard to achieve personal financial security, or who has had his or her assets subdivided in a previous relationship, often require a pre or post nuptial agreement in order to relax about the issue of what will happen to his or her personal assets. The problem is when the argument is seen as a battleground. It forecasts danger for the relationship. So what do you guys think about prenups?
Now, if we both coming in without nothing, we'll need a prenup. I don't think, because we're gonna build together. Now, if Wani's house blow up, this is the thing now, because if Wani's house blow up, me and Mr. B came in with the same thing, he can get part of my Wani's house. But if I had Wani's house prior to him, yeah, he gonna have to sign a prenup.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have to sign a prenup. So, but I do believe that anytime that I vested into the relationship, I do deserve something. I don't believe I deserve half of what you did. Now, unless you just a horrible person, because then I need to be paid for my pain and anguish and all that other stuff too. But I do think that I would deserve something as to being like your spouse, and so that I can and then if we have kids, yes.
Okay. I think prenups are okay if you have something that you have built up. Okay.
So that's how we get set up over here. Here's Stephanie. That's how we got it set up. Okay, she said that's how they got it set up over at her house.
With the finances, yeah.
Vandessa, he pays mortgage, his light bill, my car note, mine. When I want something, his. Okay. She said, I feel you, Al. Daphne, Melissa, you're young and you have to learn the difference. Yes.
That's why I'm here. I'm gleaning wisdom.
Yes. But you got to remember, our experiences and our situations will probably be different from yours, because y'all a whole different breed.
Species. You are a whole different species.
Yes. What she says, I'm all for that. Okay. I had a house and land before his broke butt. Oh my gosh. So do you have a prenup, Vandessa?
I think earlier up she said she does.
Okay. I think prenup's okay if you have something that you have. Okay. Same here, Vandessa. She said, "Pow! Fire!" All right, Al.
Not if one of these house blows up, when it blows up.
When it blows up, yes.
Life over that.
Leela said, legally, if you have property and kids from before your marriage to home, you need a prenup.
Oh, to him.
Oh, to him.
Yes.
Also, if you have property and kids from before your marriage to him, you need a prenup. Really?
I guess that makes me wonder, if you had property and kids before you married a person, do they have the ability then to try to file for custody of your kids? Or like shared custody? Even though they're not the legal, like they're not the biological parent? Is that a thing?
Do they do that?
Listen, I don't know. I saw an episode of Law and Order SVU where somebody got sexual assaulted and the rapist wanted partial custody of the child. So things get crazy out here. Things get real crazy out here.
She said yes, in some states he could take it. Wow.
Kids?
Wow.
But I also said not in South Carolina nor Georgia. This is one of those stay in your ground states. This is one of those stay in your ground states.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's wild.
That is wild. That is
think about, because I'm not gonna lie. Up until like you asked my little brother Edgar, he's 18 and he's 19.
Oh
and
my
he's already
goodness.
thinking about.
That is wild. Hey, Aunt Leela.
Hey.
So, like, you asked my little brother Edgar. That's Lola.
Wait.
He's 19.
Oh my goodness. That is wild. Hey, Aunt Leela.
Hi.
Can you turn off?
Okay. I just wanted. Wait a minute. Let me turn down my. Hey. Wait a minute. Why is it just turning down?
Okay. Do you have on two devices on YouTube?
You have two devices on?
Hey. Why is it just turning down?
How about this? Hop off and then hop back on. We'll save.
Oh, she got it now. Okay.
I have my phone on, but I thought I turned it down.
Is it just your phone? And then hop back on. We'll save.
She got it now. Okay.
I have my phone on, but I thought I turned it down.
Is it just your phone? And then hop back on. We'll save.
Oh, wait a minute. I know what I can do. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, now.
There we go.
That was perfect. I don't know what you did.
No, I forgot which one I was supposed to turn down. I thought I was supposed to turn down my phone. I was supposed to turn down the TV. That's what I was
the TV.
I have you streaming on the TV. No, I just wanted to clarify. I'm not saying he can get your kids. I'm talking about just to be clear and clean in some states. If you have, and the reason I say property and kids is because I would I'm not married, but I have a kid and I own a house. If I were to get married, I would want to make sure that my daughter got my house,
right,
and not my husband. And because let's say he lives here with me, you know what I mean? And he's living in the house. I wouldn't want him to have any claim to something that I had before I got married to him that I want my child to have. So either a prenup or before I got married, I would make sure that the only people named, on my deed that would be me and my daughter, and we would hold it. There's certain ways you can hold the property. I would hold it with her in such a way so that as soon as I die, she gets 100% of it, and he couldn't fight her for it. And Melissa, I worked from home yesterday, and I saw that episode you're talking about. I think TV was taking a little bit of entertainment license with that.
Crazy.
I'm not saying that could never happen, but remember in those matters, because I used to represent DYFS in New Jersey, in those matters, it's always what's about in the best interest of the kid. I can't ever see a judge saying that you raped this woman, you got her pregnant, and now it's in the best interest of this child to have a relationship with the man who raped her mother. I think that was TV, being extra.
It was crazy. Let's just
Oh,
say,
what was that? Law and
Yes,
Order?
and Stephanie said
SU.
yes, in a will too. You do it in the will. You can do it in the will, but if you put your kids on your house as joint tenants with rights to survivorship, you don't have to. In most states, you don't even have to worry about a will because that means you own it all in the whole. And as soon as you die, your kids will all own it in 100% in the whole. You know, as a whole. I know that I'm getting too deep in the weeds, but the bottom line is,
what you mean?
Yes.
no, but the bottom line is, this: if you have assets or property that you want your kids to have before you get married, you need to go see a lawyer about how to protect those assets from your. And when I say protect, is a strong word because it's not like your husband's a bad guy. You need to talk to the lawyer to make sure your kids get those assets. Because I know somebody who the guy's father didn't do that, and he was married to his wife for like, he died when he was in his 80s. He'd been married to his wife for 30 years, which means they got married in their 50s. And the wife's daughter was trying to fight. The wife's, mind you, neither one of them grew up in that house because their parents, they were full-grown kids when the parents married, and it was the husband's the father's condo. The man I know is his father's condo, and that woman's daughter was trying to fight with him over that condo after both of their parents had died.
Wow.
And he spent probably more money on lawyers fighting her than the cost of the condo, when it could have just been resolved if his father had taken steps to protect that condo, to make sure that his son got the condo before he ever married that woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's all I got to say. Bye.
Well, thank you, Aunt Leela.
But go see a lawyer if you are in that situation.
Go see a lawyer.
Doesn't go south later. Because people fall in love and don't want to think about legal when they fall in love. Yeah.
And that's interesting. That's part of what she says too, that the prenup only comes into play if you guys are no longer together. It's just to make sure that there's fair, that people are being fair, that you do it when everybody's all lovey-dovey, so that God forbid if things go left, this was made when everybody had best intentions and best heart and all that kind of stuff. So that's exactly what she was saying. I'm not gonna lie, in my mind, I didn't think of it that way before reading this, but if you ask my little 19-year-old brother Edgar, he ain't even looking at no girls right now, but he's already thinking about a prenup. So, I can say, ain't no way somebody just gonna take what I made.
And I think it's a little different if you're young and it's your first marriage and you're building together, because then, I mean, I look at it this way, that even if you're young and say you decide to be a stay-at-home mother while he leaves, you work in the house while he works outside of the house and brings home the check to buy the house. I think that you are, and if you get divorced, something goes south, I think you are entitled to, because you may not have put money into it, but I think you put sweat equity. You decorated the house, you kept the home, you made sure that your husband was in a good way, so that he was healthy and mentally well adjusted to go out here and go to work every day to earn the money. So I think it's wrong when men turn around and say stuff like, "Oh, you're not, she's not entitled. She didn't put any money into this. She's not entitled to it." She may not have put in money, but she put in value that she should be compensated for, and also to make sure her kids are taken care of. So
that's right. Aunt Leela, you hired. You got the job. You hired.
One call on Leela.
Okay.
I don't do divorces. I did a couple of divorces early on, and divorces get way too nasty for me. Way too nasty. But anyway, all right. Bye.
All right.
I'm still here, but I'm gonna hang up so somebody else can get in.
I'm gonna send an invoice on Leela for this hard work the Lawrence family did.
You said what now? I didn't. What just? Oh,
Invoice.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Oh, that was great. We got a little law lesson too.
I know we did. Here's Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Oh, hello. I want to thank you all for your prayers. Um,
Welcome.
he's home. He left the hospital against the doctor's orders.
Mm.
His head is like cement. But tomorrow I'm taking him for dialysis and to see his other doctors tomorrow morning. We have appointments already lined up. I lined them up while we were sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Keep him in my
um,
ears though.
I want to comment about the house issue. Like we just purchased a home and we both have grown children. And I know, I feel, okay, I feel that one of his daughters is gonna, if something happens to him, is gonna try to take the house.
Mm.
So we already have documentation in play that if something happens to him, the house is mine. If something happens to me, the house is his.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, there will be no one in to step in and say, you got to move out. This is my daddy house or this is my mama house. It won't be any of that. It's already
Mm-hmm.
set up right now where the house will be if I pass before him or he leaves before me.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And so if both of you guys are gone, who gets the house? His daughter?
Well, what we're going to do if both of us pass and the kids are still here, we're going to make them sell it and split the money.
Okay.
Instead of when they sell it, that no one gets it because then, oh, you got it because, we don't need all that
Yes.
drama.
Yes, definitely.
Just sell it and split the money equally.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you, Stephanie. Girl, you sound
Thank you.
tired. You sound like just continue to be strong. I don't like the sound of your voice, but I totally
Girl,
understand how you
we got
feel.
to the ER at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh my.
And we were sitting there all that time. They were running tests and he finally said, okay, you're not keeping me. You're not doing the surgery. I'm going home.
Mm.
And see, they want to do surgery on something we already are aware of,
Mm-hmm.
that his cardiologist already talked to his kidney specialist. Well, we already know of this issue, and they can't do anything with it right now, not until he gets off dialysis.
Right.
So they were trying to force him to stay there and do the surgery tomorrow.
Mm.
And he was like, no. So they kept on trying to force. He said, you know what? I'm ready to go. He put on his shoes. And he said, what do I have to sign to leave? And he signed documentation and brought him home.
All right. All right. Well, like we said, we'll continue to pray for him and
Thank you.
Get you some rest, girlfriend.
I am. I'm finna go take me a nap.
Yes.
And I just wanted to get on to hear the rest of the book.
All right. Well,
I'll talk to you ladies. I'll see you later.
All righty.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah. So a majority of, after private property, she talked about space maintenance, chores, and stuff like that. She talked about how you spend your time together as a couple, how you handle play, and overall, a lot of it was just about, really good communication, being very clear about what you guys want. As far as like the maintenance and chores and things like that, interestingly enough, considering that, she does have a Miss Daisy kind of approach to everything, she advised that gender roles play no bearing. They play no bearing on household responsibilities. That at the end of the day, wait, let me say it how she said it, because she said it so well. She was like, she often says, she says, many women and men make the mistake of thinking that chores are allocated by gender, but there are no gender-related tasks. There are only physical limitations due to height, weight, and dexterity. So, if things got to be lifted and I can't lift it, player, you're going to have to tag in.
That's right. I totally I totally agree. Y'all know I don't believe in gender roles. Y'all know I say all the time, I hate doing laundry. Mr.
I
B,
hate it too.
he likes doing laundry. He even likes to iron. Girl, please. No. No.
Okay.
So I agree with that. I do.
Oh, and she was saying that she believes that as long as, so she was saying that if there comes any disagreements or issues with how certain things are supposed to be allocated, her advice is that she doesn't believe in divorce, legal or emotional, and as long as there's any piece of love left, that people should try to work on it. And essentially by the end of it, I'll just read it. She says, next, she advises couples on how to navigate disagreements that arise during negotiation. The author doesn't believe in divorce, legal or emotional, as long as there's any piece of love left. Love is so hard to come by that when you do get a little of it, you should nurture it to the very end. Don't abort a relationship that has value in it. Stay until you cannot stay, and you know the time to leave because you will feel both empathetic and apathetic towards your mate. Did some research. Empathetic is when you can put yourself in their place emotionally, but apathetic meaning that you just don't feel anything for them at all. The spark and the angry feelings will be gone. She often says she who leaves first in anger is doomed to repeat the relationship experience. She who stays until the end, when the lessons are learned, moves on to the next step in relationship skills. So her thing is, don't be the first one to bail because things aren't turning out the way that you want them to. Learn whatever lesson has to be learned so that you're not likely to repeat it in your next relationship.
I agree with that. Two things we agree on. I agree with that.
14 chapters in and we found two things.
Two things. Okay, so Al had something on here. Al says, but what about love? Love changes the whole dynamic. And I think Al is speaking about in terms of like the prenup. Is that correct? Sometimes and we have seen that too. We've seen, oh my goodness, who is going through that now? What's that lady name? She's dating the basketball agent, Adele. Adele is going through that now because remember, in her first marriage, her husband got half of everything. He got half of everything. So now she's dating Chris Paul, and she presented him with a prenup. Now Chris Paul has a lot of money too, because he's a sports agent, but he don't have Adele money. Because even when Adele gave away half of hers, she still had Adele money. She like Monopoly land. So Chris Paul now, he don't want to sign the prenup. And so Adele's friends have been like, girl, don't marry him. Don't do it. But now I think she's decided that she was going to marry him without the prenup because she's like, they're in love. She's in love with him. So what you think about that? Because it's one thing to be in love with somebody. And this is my aunt told me, and this is like old school. Now this is I think she baby boomer. She was like, don't love somebody more than they love you. Right? So in that instance, and he also has to he has the reputation. He dates women who has money. Right. So now he'll be marrying somebody who has money. So if him and Adele doesn't make it, does he deserve to get half of what she got again? Because there's no prenup. He didn't want to sign a prenup. She brought the prenup forward. And he's not going to sign it. And she's still going to go forward. Ain't no way, especially a marriage between famous people. Aunt Leela said, ain't no way.
And that's on law, and that's on a law degree, period.
Period. And she says, I got a cold, but I want to come on here so bad. Come on, Al. We have like 5 more minutes. So we come on. Come on down. Leela said, ain't no way. She's singing Aretha Franklin. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. That's not a good idea. If he doesn't want to sign, that means 4 to 5 years down the line, he will leave and ask for half. Rich and famous people. She said, Here is the link. Janine says she better keep them on the side. Okay. So what do you think, Melissa?
I'm not going to lie. Until Monday, when I read this, I was like, no, why would I want a prenup? I don't listen. When I get married, I'm getting married till the wheels fall off. Like somebody gonna have to be dead for us to break up. That's what I gotta say.
Oh my.
And that's just where my mindset was. But I feel like now that I've read this, if I've also kind of thought about a way around this, if I'm being completely honest. Like, yes, I'm going to be making money, but it's not going to be in my name.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be separate from me in a legal entity. So, he could take half of the paycheck I get monthly.
Mm-hmm.
But she said red flag. She said
red flag.
My big sister. Hey,
Carrie. She said red flag. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And then you know who else did it?
Who?
Now, you remember Janet. Remember when Janet married that prince over in Saudi Arabia, whatever? She had to be married to him for 5 years. She had a baby, but then it was like 5 years and an hour. She filed for divorce. She got half of his money.
Whoa. And that's the scary part because, like, thinking about it, right? In the earlier one, when we were talking about the couple who, I didn't write it in there, but in the book, they gave an example of a man who wanted a prenup and then a woman who was like, I don't know how I feel about that. And that's when the explanation came about why the prenups and all that kind of stuff. And basically for him, because she was willing to sign it, what he did is he added in a stipulation where if after 5 years there are still going good and they don't feel like it's necessary, then they can set it to the side. But off rip, he wanted to see whether or not she'd be like, no. And for him, that would have been telling for whether or not he wanted to marry her at all. Because I guess in his mind, if she was unwilling to get a prenup at all or even consider it, it's because they're trying to take his money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she did 5 years, Jill Scott.
Oh, she's talking about Janet did, and so did Jill Scott.
But then again, that's dangerous, right? Because what if, you're there, you put in a 10-year clause and then somebody's just going to wait it out until 10 years just to get their money. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's
10 years, 1 hour. Out of here.
I think that's just when you just got to kind of do your research and talk to their family and friends.
To do what?
Figure out how they actually like. I really don't know at this point. It seems like it's more safe just to have it, honestly.
Oh my goodness. I know, huh?
Because I'm gonna be honest. I see my lifestyle in the future having a lot of zeros behind it. So maybe this is absolutely something I need to be thinking about.
And maybe so. Could you have a prenup just in case?
Yeah. Because think about it, it's only there in case things go bad. If we continue the way that we're going the entire time, there's no problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lurking like a snake in the grass. Just like
okay. Georgia, 5 years and 1 day.
So so we kind of go over that. I think we're in a good place to move on to chapter 15 if you want. Unless you want to go at it next time. Because I know you were saying that you wanted us to keep it shorter this time.
Yes. So let's do that because chapter 15 actually starts talking about start talking about sex. So that's what we'll do. We'll start next Thursday with chapter 15.
All right. Just letting you know, if you're easily frazzled or if you're easily blushing, you can still come on live and say your piece. You could just turn the camera off. It'll be okay. All we got to do is hear your voice.
That's it. Yes. So I think we're in a good place to stop right now. Guys, I want to thank you all for coming on tonight. We decided that we would just have this for like an hour because y'all know we can go on and on and on. And so I thought that, what we'll do is we'll come on for an hour at a time. And because we started a little late, we just carried on a little late. And but yeah, so come back next Thursday and we will continue with chapter 15. And we talking about the SEX, y'all.
And I wanted to say, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I know I've been learning the lingo, so that's what we're doing over here. That way, people can learn about this. And I just wanted to give some special thanks. Thank you, Aunt Leela, for coming on. Thank you, Carrie, for coming on. Thank you, Grandma, for being on as well. And I thank you for everyone. Thank you for everyone for commenting and just keeping the conversation live and giving us feedback and everything. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Miss Stephanie, for coming on and sharing what's going on in your life. And I will definitely keep your husband in my prayers.
Yes. And I want to thank everyone who comes back every week. Janine, Vandessa,
yes,
Aunt Leela. I saw Frugalista Vivica came on.
Yes.
Al came on. It's just all of you guys. So I just really want to thank you guys for taking out some time on your Thursday evening to hang with us. So Wani and the girl, here I go again, want to call you a millennial. Wani and the Gen X, the Gen Z. I'm Gen X.
We in the same generation. AJ
nothing. All right, guys. So you guys have a good night. Also remember, tomorrow we'll be dishing with the divas. We're talking about Property Brothers, episode 8, I think. But tomorrow at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time, 6:00 Central Time. So thank you guys. I'm coming to talk next week. Okay, Al, we ready for you next week. She gonna make up for this week.
Peace and chicken grease. You're hilarious.
Yes. And I hope you feel better soon, Al.
Same.
Yes. All right, guys. Good night. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.
Later.
Bye-bye.